Well, hello, everyone. Now we are here today to go over what Shree and I have come together with, all the answers and questions you might be having about the University of Vedic Astrology. So I'm here with my dear friend and student, Shreekala Ram, and she is like one of the very first graduates of the university, and she will really help you understand her experience and really what it's all about, because it's not just classes. We really do train everyone to better understand how to have a business as an astrologer. And I'm here to empower people with this, to set up your business, everything you need. But not only that, we have a community that is amazing, where all the students, we all come together weekly and meet, discuss things, and have classes. It's just a big community and an ongoing experience, and we're here to tell you more about it. So Shree, you want to take over and give a little bit of your experiences and what you think this whole university is all about.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Joni. And yeah, my name is Shreekala Ram. I used to study with Joni. I was her student, and I still am, actually. I'm always going to be Joni's student. That's never going to stop. But just to give you a quick background about myself, I am from India, and my native is a small state called Kerala in the south of India. And if any of you know, kind of the geography of India, the state of Kerala, we have astrology is steeped in our tradition. It's everywhere. Everybody goes to astrologers. We have a lot of really good astrologers over there. And in my family, I had some astrologers too. So I grew up in that kind of a background. And of course, when I came here and I met Joni, is when I really wanted to learn, because she inspired me to learn astrology, even if I had that background as a child and everything, but she gave me the direction. So that's one of the important things that I want to kind of tell you guys, because we see all these YouTube videos. We always have this idea what Vedic astrology is, sidereal versus tropical. All that theory is there in our minds, but the direction, if you want to become an astrologer, or even if you don't want to practice astrology, if you just want to understand astrology a little further, that direction, it came from this university for me. When I became a student of this university is when, the way the university is laid out, it's very structured. So each semester has 8 lessons, and then each of these lessons you'll have a video that you can watch, which Joni has recorded, and the video is full of information. Everything that Joni has learned during her entire career, she has laid it out there. And then you have a test that you take after each video, so you can test yourself to see if you've gained that knowledge. And then, of course, you have a live tutor who helps you out through the whole thing. So first 5 semesters, one of Joni's students, I myself am a tutor now. Mm-hmm. And you have a live tutor. You can reach out to them if you have any questions. We don't just leave you saying, hey, go and learn this and, let you fend for yourself. We are always there to guide you. And every week, Joni does a live webinar. Okay, and it depends on the semester you're in, because if you're in the first semester, it might be every other week. But she never fails to come on every week, gives us a live webinar. You can interact live with Joni. And then at the end of all this, in the 6th semester, you get to work live with Joni one-on-one, where you learn how to interpret charts, how to read charts. And, and just, it's really fun. The 6th semester is really fun because, then Joni kind of gives you these charts of real people and asks you to find when they got married, or when they made money, or what their career is. So all that is, what this university is about. Now, this you might have seen somewhere else. I doubt it, but you might have seen it somewhere else. But I want to tell you some extra things that you get as part of this university, which really helped me. What I noticed is, after the 6 semesters, you get the certificate, and it's not like Joni says, you're done, okay, bye, right? You're always part of this UVA community. I graduated, I think 4 years ago. And to this day, I am an integral part of the community because we always have something that Joni kind of inspires us to do. She inspired me to write a book. And then she gave me the opportunity to create a semester for the university, a whole full-fledged semester with 8 lessons. And, I'll be doing live webinars and, and of course, where did all that knowledge come from? I kind of mimicked it exactly off of what the university had. So Joni has helped me put it together. So that's what I'm talking about. This university empowers you. It doesn't just give you a piece of paper, say that this is a certificate, now go make it on your own. It empowers you to become a really good astrologer. Because at the end of this, when you graduate, we help you set up a website. We have a package ready. We can, for a minimal cost, we can help you set up a website. You can become an astrologer. You can do readings right away. You can be a tutor at the university once you have graduated. So we kind of get you started on the path. And then in addition to all that, when events like the conference come up, like Joni's conference, the Future of Astrology conference, you get a UVA student discount. When Joni does her yearly predictions, for every year, she sends all those transits, the document, to all her students first. They have the first access to that. And that's another perk that you get. We just recently started a WhatsApp group. So you can interact with everybody. You can, all the students in the university, you can interact with them. And we are also doing a Facebook page. So what I want to say when I say all this, what I'm trying to kind of draw a conclusion is that this is not just, going and learning lessons and, becoming, getting that certificate. This is about joining a community and joining Joni in helping further Vedic astrology and helping further getting that knowledge out to everybody. And that's what is so great about this university. And of course, as most of you know, since you've been following Joni for a long time, the amount of information she has is vast. That's why I said I'll never stop being her student. But, if some of these videos in the university, like for example, the Nakshatras video, it has so much information. You can hear about the mythology, you can hear about how Joni uses it in predictions. And it's just a lot of information and you will learn a lot. You will become a really good astrologer and you will also get that kind of like a push to start your business. And in the last semester, I also forgot to mention, Joni does a whole lesson on counseling. She teaches you how to be a good astrologer. So it's not just learning the theory, it's about how do you apply it, right? So that's kind of the reason why I really wanted to come onto this forum and talk about this, because, when we go and look at the website and we see, okay, these are the lessons and these are the semesters, we don't know what else extra comes with this university. And trust me, I have lived this. I am an example. In 2009, 2010, when I first met Joni, I had no idea what astrology was. And I have heard about it when I grew up, but I would never have thought that I'll become an astrologer. But, this university gave me the direction. And I know many of you out there, you're considering it, you're thinking about it, but, trust me, this is one action that you will not regret. And here I am sitting today, I have a successful astrology business, a successful YouTube channel. I wrote a book. I'm starting a semester. I talk at the conference, one of the speakers. So you can be all this too. It's not rocket science. Joni's there to help you, and she's the one who has given us the direction to get to where we are. And that's what I wanted to come and tell you guys from my perspective, how the university has helped me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shree, because, I don't want this to be about me. I want this to be about my students, because one of the things I love to do more than anything in the world is teach. And it's really a blast to me to every single week get to go on live and talk to all of my students. And use charts for what's current, what's going on in the world currently, world affairs or people in the news, because it's so much more interesting. And I feel like when you're actually practicing astrology as the world changes and what's going on, that this is how you really learn, because it keeps you motivated and inspired to be looking at, you know, what you're predicting. And as you see everything really unfold as this world is changing so dramatically lately. So I teach all my students how I do what I do. I don't hold back because you know what? I really feel like it needs to live on beyond me. And that's why I started this university, so I could prep all the students to come on board, really understand what this is all about, teach everything I know, and then they'll carry it to the next level. So we're building all these different platforms with all the new, with the graduates, that they will have their own semester, their own classes. And I empower everyone to write. I have a magazine, an online magazine, astrologicmagazine.com. And I encourage and I get a lot of my students to write articles, because this is how you're really going to learn. And everyone has to know that when you teach, that's when you really learn, because you cannot be wrong with any of your answers. So I encourage people to become teachers. And I hope that one day I'll be able to step back and have everyone else, you know, part of this university with all the different courses and classes coming up here right now. So this is like, you know, this big opening with now my students becoming the teachers is just, well, let me just say this. I'm so proud every time I have a student. And, you know, when I'm in the last semester, when I'm working with my students, I'm like, did I really teach them all this? They're getting all these answers, such as, you know, it's not so easy when I tell you to pick a time when somebody got married, and I say, and you got to pick this time that you have to be within 6 months, within a 10-year period of time, and they get it right. It floors me, because I'm like, wow, what I taught them really works. And then they have a feeling of self-confidence when they know that they can make these predictions, because you know, when you get out there in the real world and you start doing readings, it's scary, because you're like, where do I start? Am I going to guide this person in the right direction? You know, you feel like this responsibility where you really are guiding and helping people. It's serious. But with these proven techniques that I have taken from my many, many years, a lot of my astrology, even though it is all traditional from the Vedic text, Parashara. And then what I do is there's sometimes some of the things where I show where this works over that, based on all the charts that I've done, because you know, so many years of doing readings, when you see something coming up repeatedly in a chart, you'll know what it means, because you know the outcome. You've seen what it produces. And, you know, and then the writing and everything that I do, I live the world of astrology, because every day, you know, and when you first get the bug, every day you're looking at, I wonder what his chart's like. I wonder what their chart's like. I wonder what's going on. Where are the planets right now? Why is this happening? You know, you start living it and experiencing it. It's just, you know, and the world makes sense. Here, Chester had to come up here with me. So he was scratching at the door. But you know, we just really have to embrace astrology for what it's for, and that is truly to help guide people, humanity. And there is nothing more empowering when somebody says, you know, you've changed my life.
Yes.
That's the gratification that you're going to get as an astrologer, because we do change lives.
Yes.
Because astrology is a fact. It works. It's the truth. So yeah, that's just what I want to say. And there is nothing in this world that I'm not more proud of than my university, because now I'm empowering students, not just clients, but students, to be the best they can be, and to help people, and to create a community of people that want to, change and help humanity. That's what it's all about for me. Anyway, so do you want to add anything to that, Shree, or is there
Yes, and I just wanted to say, after doing this for so many years, Joni, like I know you've done this for almost 40 years now. What the university has, the subject matter that you're teaching is not just the traditional parashara system, which you have all of that in there, but then you have everything you learned from your experience as well.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed, and that's invaluable because you cannot get that somewhere else. That comes out of experience. And that's the best thing that's helped me as an astrologer. Everything that you've taught, like eclipses and the degree point of eclipses, and the nodes. You talk a lot about the nodes, and it's just a treasure trove of knowledge. That's what really has helped me when I became an astrologer. And one more thing I wanted to mention is, if you guys go to the University of Vedic Astrology page, the web page, we'll put the information down below this video once it's up. But if you go there, you'll see a link which says graduates. And that was, again, one of the ideas that Joni had to empower her students. And when I keep saying, this is a community and we are always going to be together, this is what I mean, because Joni wanted the graduates page to be up because she wanted all her students to be showcased there so that they can get clients, and they can get people going into their websites, and they can kind of come together as a community. What I've noticed is that Joni doesn't cut off the strings and say, okay, you're done, go and start your business. She empowers us. And I can't say that enough because that's something that we don't get anywhere else. And one more thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that, when you start writing your book, when you start writing or doing your semester, say you come on board, you become a tutor, and, you have this great idea for a new semester, again, there's a lot of help and motivation that Joni gives you there. And once you're done with the 6 semesters, you still have access to the Schoology learning platform, which we use. You can always watch webinars. You can always join us on the live webinars. It's not that, once you're done with the first semester, you can't go back. You always have access to everything. The recorded webinars, live webinars, and, say, you've already done the entire thing. You have become a certified astrologer. And next week, Joni has a live webinar where, of course, her live webinars are not always the same material. She talks about current world events in every live webinar. So each one is very engaging, and everybody comes together. It's very active. It's an active discussion forum. And say you want to join that, you can, because you still have access to join that. You have the links to join it. You have access to the learning platform, and you will always have it. That's a lifelong access that you have. So that's another thing that I wanted to kind of mention, because even though I have a successful business now, there are times, first of all, I am a tutor too, so I have to be on those webinars. But there are times when I'm like, I want to go and watch this webinar that Joni's doing. And, it might be in the 3rd semester, but I can still go and watch it. I have access to it. And that's how you will have access to everything once you join us, because it's a lifelong access. It doesn't get taken away. It's not that you get certified and it's done. You're always part of the community, and the community is always thriving. It's growing. Like even the WhatsApp that we just recently started, it's so active. Everybody's talking about the upcoming eclipse and, what's going to happen. And everybody has their life experiences that they share. They share their charts. Everybody talks about the charts. So it's very, very lively, the community. And, one thing that I really got from this university was like-minded people. Because, when we work, and for those of you who don't know, my career is in the IT world. I work in IT. But, it's very rare for me to find somebody who understands astrology in that world. Most of the time they give you these weird looks when you talk to them about astrology. But when I joined this university, it's just a bunch of people who think exactly like I do. They all they love talking about astrology, which is hard to find anywhere else.
Mhm.
And it's just like a family, even when we do our conferences, right, Joni? You
Yeah.
agree with that? Our conferences are also, small, intimate. It's like a family coming together, like on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. It's amazing. So all that is what you get when you join this university. It's not just the 6 semesters, it's a lot of other things that come with it. And we all together it's a platform. We are
Yeah.
all on this platform together. And it's a community. So I'm just so glad, Joni, that you gave me this opportunity, because when I come on here and speak, and I want people to know what makes this university tick. It's not just the lessons. So yeah, if you have anything, Joni, let's talk about the questions, or do
Well,
you
one
want to?
more thing I want to add is we have meetings where we all come together and
Yeah.
we discuss how can we change and make this better all the time. I don't want this to be just about what I want. I want it to be what the community wants. So we came together and we had a meeting with all the students and asked them, what would you do to improve this? And they said they wanted a book club where they discuss books. They said they wanted a Facebook page where they can all come together and discuss things there, and the WhatsApp. So we thought, what great ideas. We'll implement that. And I also have meetings with my tutors, but we always come together in the line of being a community and taking advice or taking suggestions, because we have some brilliant minds in this university. They come up with things I never thought of, and I thought, what a great idea. So it's constantly growing, and everyone gets to be a part of it in terms of making decisions and helping it grow. So it, like you say, it's all about our community and coming together, what we want to know and learn. So that's, and one more thing is all the live videos are recorded. So if you can't make those videos, you can watch them at a later date, or if you want to even rewatch them, everything's recorded and all up on Schoology. That's along with the semester videos that you take the test with. This is all additional. So that's all I wanted to add.
So I'm going to look at the questions, Joni. Do you want me to go ahead and read some?
Yes, because I'm not seeing them, so you're going to have to read them, and you and I will answer them together.
Okay. So I think one of the questions is, how does the semester system work?
How does the semester what?
How does the semester system work? So I guess they're trying to understand if you have to pass one to go to the next, and how do you move on and all that. So I mean, you can take that, or I can talk
Yeah,
about it.
no, the way that it works is everything, it's self-paced. I want people to understand that it's self-paced, because when I say the university is starting over again, it's that I'm starting to do the webinars for the first semester over again. So I'll do a webinar. Now for each semester, I explained this before, but I'll explain it again. For each semester, there's eight videos that you watch, take the test at your own pace. You don't have to go along with this new start date, but the new start date is where, in conjunction to semester one, you'll be able to watch the live webinars that we have for semester one, where I come on and answer any questions. Now there's 4 live webinars per the 8-week semester, but I am actually doing a webinar every week, because I am not only doing semester one. So I will be doing 1 week semester one. And then after that, the week after that, I'm starting semester 4. So I have, but if you paid for semester 4, if you pay for the entire university, or maybe you paid for semester 4 a year ago, you can come back on and watch semester 4. It's just whatever semesters you have paid for, you get to watch the live videos. A lot of people pay for everything all up front, and they watch every video regardless of what semester they're actually taking tests in, because we have some people that are a little bit more advanced. But I do require people to take the whole university, no matter where you are, when you come on board with your learning. A lot of people think, well, I already know all this, why do I have to take the first semester? I guarantee you don't know all the things that I'm going to be teaching, because I have different things than just the basic, rules in there. And I think it's really important to understand how we work as a community too, because I don't want, let me put it this way, I don't want a tutor that's grading people's tests that hasn't taken that semester, so even if, and then I have, well, all the relearning I have to do with the Western astrologers, because because they're like, how can this be when it's this way in Western? I'm like, no, you just got to let that go. So we have people coming from so many different mindsets and learning that I want them to get this type of learning. One thing I love in the first semester is talking about Bhavat Bhavam, the houses, what they all mean. And so many people don't realize some of the meanings of the houses that will truly enrich your readings beyond what you can consider. Because, when I think about the 11th house as being problems with the mother, it is the 8th house from the 4th. And I've had many students come on and go, you know what, you're so right about the 11th house being the 8th from the 4th, that it can be the death or the end or psychological problems for the mother. But, that's just one example. I want everyone to know that each semester is very rich with my own personal experiences. Plus, I'm, open to learning other things that people might add in these live webinars. So I think I made it clear. Each semester, if you are going along with the videos that start up on July 15th for the first semester, you should probably be doing one video and test per week. So by the 8th week, then I'm ready to start on the second semester live videos. So then if you're following along, then the information I'm giving in the live webinars will be relative to the second semester. And we do take breaks every now and then. Sometimes people get a little behind and I'm like, okay, do we need a couple of weeks off for the summer before we go into semester 2? I just take it as to where the students all are. We take breaks in Christmas. And if you are to follow along with the live webinars, it takes about a year. Isn't that about right, Shree, with the breaks and everything we take?
Yes. And that's a good segue into the next question, because somebody asked that too. They're asking, how many months does it take to finish entire course? How much time is needed? And what day or time is the weekly webinar? And are your books part of the classes? So there's a lot of questions that one person wants to ask. So let's look at the first one. So I think your last answer was a good segue into this question as to how much time it requires. But I agree that, if we follow along with the webinars, it takes around a year for the entire 6 semesters, right?
Right. But of course, we have some very ambitious students that have done it in 6 months.
Yes.
And usually those are the ones that have a lot of previous knowledge. It's so, it takes time for things to really sink in. I know when I first switched from Western astrology to Vedic, I couldn't believe all the different meanings for the houses. I was like floored. I was like, how in the world am I ever going to learn all this? But I did. And, it's overwhelming at first. People think, there's no way I can learn all this. So it takes time for it to really sink in. That's why it does take a year when people, this is new to them. But some of the students that are pretty well versed in astrology, I have had people zip through it in 6 months. Usually, I think somebody has done it in a little less time, but you know, you got to really take your time and really study this stuff, really get it down. And the third semester, I love the third semester because what we do is we take everything we've learned from the first semester, which is all the principles, and the second semester, which is all the predictive techniques, and then we really apply them. Because, you know, so many people sit down and look at a chart and yeah, they've studied, they've taken all these courses, and then they look at a chart and they go, where do I start with all of this? At all, you know, you don't know where to begin. So I teach everyone how to go step by step, very systematically, so it's not just so overwhelming. But did I answer that first question?
Yes, and also I just wanted to add to that one point as well, that, you know, we recently also recorded a whole video where Joni explains how to use the software, because that's one of the questions. Yes.
That's another thing. If you're a student, you get to, we get where you have a 20% discount to buy Parashara's Lite, the software program that we use. And, you know, when I'm doing the live webinars, of course, you know, we're showing the charts, I'm sharing my screen, and we use Parashara's Lite. So I show people, even during each live webinar, how to use the program, what I did to pull up what I did. And then, yes, we just did a whole class on how to use Parashara's Lite.
Yeah, and also I think, Joni, you did a whole class on how to read the chart step by step, and you mentioned that too. Because that's, you know, people, you know, once they get to the point where they can make predictions, you teach them how to go through it step by step. So I think that answers the question that Kathy had. Another question that Kathy asked is, are your books part of the classes?
Yes, the book that is a requirement is called Eastern Astrology for Western Minds. That is my textbook. But no, you have to go on Amazon and purchase that along with the classes. And it's not very much, especially if you got the Kindle version. But, you know, I think you're probably going to want the real solid book, so you can go from page to page and mark up the book. But a lot of the university follows my book, so you've got a textbook to refer to as well. And some of the questions are in the videos, and some of the questions are in the book. So it's not completely, you got to do both to really answer some of the questions. But yes, and I tell people all my other books, when we're talking live, like on world prediction and such, my other books, you can get those, and they are they do follow along with a lot of the techniques that I'm teaching, but they're optional. They're not required.
Yes, and I think that's I completely agree with that, Joni. So the next question that we have is, are you teaching about padas, and are you talking about divisional charts in your teachings?
Yes, of course, I talk about divisional charts. It's a major aspect of Vedic astrology in terms of, especially I use the divisional charts in terms of the dashas in prediction. That, you know, if you see the the Bhukti, which is the sub-cycle planet, let's say you've got that Bhukti, you're in that, let's say you're in Jupiter Venus, okay, just for example, and then you go to the Navamsha chart and Venus is in the 7th house. In the Navamsha chart, that is a major tool I use for when somebody would get married, or even the planet that rules that 7th house in the Navamsha. So I absolutely, definitely teach all about the divisional charts and how they're incorporated and used. And, you know, we have a whole class on the Navamsha, because no Vedic astrologer should look at a chart without looking at the Navamsha. In terms of the padas, yes, I mention them. I don't go into great depth with the padas, because I think that the padas are basically, you know, I put things in an order of importance. What is the most important thing? And then I weigh it down. The padas are, I think they're more subtle. I think everything matters, don't get me wrong, but I think they're more subtle than the main issues of the nakshatras, the nakshatra ruling planet, not only the nakshatra ruling planet, the signs, the dispositors. I really kind of give you an idea of what I think is the most important in terms of what I've used the most in my in my readings, everything I do. So the PADAs are kind of last on my list. Not last, I wouldn't say completely last, but they're way down on my list. What about you, Shree? Do you use the PADAs that much? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. What happened? Shree?
Yeah, since the time I learned about the Gemini astrology, Joni, as you know, and I wrote the book, Padas are very integral to Gemini astrology. So I do use them a lot as part of my readings. And the semester that I'm doing on Gemini astrology, starting July 23rd, I'll have a whole lesson about the Padas as well. But it is a little different from the Parashara concept, but it is very integral to Gemini astrology as a different branch of astrology, right? So yes, I mean, I think that's what Kathy wanted to know. That was her question. And another question that I see, Joni, are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. And another question that I see is, do you talk about yogas?
Oh my God, yes. I'm laughing because for some reason that is the hardest concept for my students to get.
Yeah,
and
I think you have so much material about yogas with examples, right? And that's the reason I was laughing, because I mean, that is like the most integral. I think one of was it the fourth semester? Yeah, it's like the most integral portion of it. You talk so much about how you use the yogas, right? And all the details, and with examples, that makes it so easy to understand.
Yes, and I'm laughing too, because when we I'm changing this now, because I'm really instilling in all the students' minds now that by the time you get to the last semester and you do your live reading for someone, which is a live reading, just like the way I do my readings, it's just you have me and your tutor watching as you do a live reading for a real individual. If you don't include the yogas, you're going to have to go back and do it. And so many of the students, I say, okay, where's the yogas in the chart? And and they go, oh, I didn't study that very well. I'm like, you got to go back and study that. The yogas are so imperative. They make such a difference. I'm a big proponent of studying and knowing your yogas. So yes, to answer that question with a wholehearted yes, you're going to learn all about the yogas.
Yes. And the next question is, I miss your conference this year. Please consider holding one via Zoom or do one next year as soon as possible.
Yes, that's so nice. And I've got to say this, I knew not to have a conference this year.
Yes.
Everyone else is like having to switch over and do all their conferences online, which is, something maybe I could consider but I know things are going to change by next year. I just knew not to have one this year. So probably, in 2021, we'll do another conference. And the whole reason I love conferences is to bring everyone together in person, in person. So, the thing is that we're live all the time on, so to have a conference online would be similar to what we do every week. We come together. Okay. So.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of attendees who are saying hi. Hi, Madeline. Hi. Dia has joined. Hi, Dia. We see everybody so amazing on YouTube. I just love this. It's like we're all sitting in a big room chatting.
I know. Isn't it?
And, all right. So the next question is there a link to join the classes and buy required software and books? Do you want me to take that, Joni?
Yeah, go ahead.
So once you join, we'll be putting the link to join below this video, but just in case you're looking at it now, it's University of Vedic Astrology.com. That's the web address. And when you're there on the very first page, you see the link that says click here to join. And you have the option to buy semester by semester, or you can buy the whole course. It's up to you. And once you join, what will happen is you'll get a welcome email from the university where everything will be spelled out as to how do you join the classes, how to join Schoology. And, we had some students join last week, and, I'm about to send those emails out. So you'll get that, which will tell you everything that you need to know. And when you're on Schoology, there is a document that tells you how to watch the videos. It's step-by-step instructions with screenshots, so it'll be very easy for you. Your tutors are there to help you out if you come up against an obstacle anywhere. And then about buying the software, like Joni said, any student of the university has a 20% discount. Was it 20%, Joni, right
Yes.
now? Yes, 20% discount with Parasharas Lite. That's the software that we use. The person who created it is one of Joni's dear friends. So that's another good thing that we have in this university. And any question you have, they are very helpful as well. And like the other question that you asked regarding the software, there is a video that Joni did on how to use the software. So you don't have to go in and try to struggle, find out how to set things up and all that. That video very clearly explains it. And when we have the new batch, I was thinking, hopefully, maybe Joni, we can do another session later on explaining the software.
I think so.
So yeah, that was the question, I think. Anything else you wanted to add, Joni?
No, it's just, yeah, every single time I do a live webinar, when I show the screen, I will be showing you, okay, now this is how I got this up on the screen. So, so as we go, I'm constantly teaching. But yes, with the new semester, I'll probably do another video on how to use it, because it's a beautiful program. It's Parasharas Lite by GeoVision software. And I think, it's easier when you see your where you have the same chart that you're familiar with looking at all the time, and how to use the program. It's not so foreign looking. It all becomes really familiar.
Okay. The next question, Joni, is can you tell us what is there in each of the semesters? Let me read the question once more. Can you please cover all the major topics which are going to be covered in the semesters?
Okay, well, one thing I want to say, if you go to, I'm going to tell you, but if you go to the University of Vedic Astrology.com website, and you'll click on the courses or semesters, there'll be a drop-down page. When you click on each semester, it'll drop down furthermore and give you all of the classes, what they're about.
Do you want me to share my screen, Joni, and show that just so people?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, let me go ahead and share. So this is what we are talking about. If you can see, can you see my screen, Joni?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
So when you come to this website, this is the first page you'll see. And this is where I was saying you can see, click here to sign up. And if you go up here on the top and you click on semesters, and it'll take you to this page. There's a little plus sign here right next to each semester, which opens up into what each semester contains. So it tells you exactly, like in the first semester, you have the intro, you have houses, you have Bhavat Bhavam, a whole lesson dedicated to Bhavat Bhavam. You have planets, signs, aspects, yogas, nakshatras. Similarly, if you click on each of these, you can see what is covered in that semester. Very extensive information. The fourth semester is amazing. You have, global disease, earthquakes, airline crashes, world war, world predictions, and it's got all the little gems that Joni uses in making world predictions. If you watched her YouTube videos and you wondered, how does she come up with this? She explains all of that in her fourth semester. That's exactly how she does that. And then fifth semester is your Varshafal. And there was a question I noticed somebody asked about Gemini. They asked if there was any lesson on Gemini. In the fifth semester, we touch briefly on it. We talk about the Gemini system because it is a different system of astrology for sure. And this is the one that Joni kind of motivated me and encouraged me to go and learn. And, of course, I've been researching this for many years now. I wrote a book, and we have a whole new semester dedicated to Germany now. It's a Germany, this is Germany system of astrology. And that will be a separate course by itself, a standalone course, and you will get a certification once you do that course, in addition to whatever you're doing in UVA. So that's somebody asked that question, so I was just touching on that. And then you have the sixth semester, and this is where you do the predictions. You can see, all the different questions that Joni is going to ask you in the sixth semester, and these are real life people, and you have to make these predictions, and she'll give you a certain time window. This is a very fun semester, because this is where you get to apply what you've learned. Right. So you go, you start, looking at these charts, and you say, within a 6-month or a month time window, can you tell, when this person came into money, or what career are they doing, or, how do you find the muhurta for starting a business? And that actually is good for you, because when you start your own astrology business, you'll need to look at the muhurta. So there you go. There's another little thing that's going to help you set up your business. And then if you see the 7th one over here, how to set up your astrology business, how to promote yourself. We talk about social media. Mm-hmm. We talk about how to set up your business so that, it's, even if you have your website up, people may not see it. You need to do social media to kind of help people, guide people to your website. So we talk about that. And then the last one over here is the final exam, which, like Joni said, you will be face to face with a real life person, and you will read their chart. So, and trust me, at this time you may feel like, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. But everybody who has graduated from this university has astounded us when they got to this point. Mm-hmm. Because we are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they read that chart so well. Yeah. So it's amazing. So just to answer that question, if you go to the website and you come here, this is where you can see everything broken out as to what you're getting. And then, you take it on from there.
Yeah, exactly. So that says it all there. So a lot of people, maybe they didn't realize that they could pull down the screen and get the details on what's going to be taught in each class, but it's all there.
All right, so let's see what's the next question. I'm familiar with the Northern Indian style of chart. What style do you use in your classes? Is the South Indian style easy to learn?
Very easy. And I think once you really get used to it, you'll prefer it, believe it or not. But I use the South Indian style. But, I've had students that when they go to their final exam, they use the North Indian style. Really and truly, you should be able to read both, because, it's the same thing. It depends on how you were taught initially, which one you kind of prefer. And I was always taught with the South Indian style chart for many, many years in the early 90s. That's when I really, really started studying and teaching Vedic astrology. And I'm just more familiar with the South Indian style chart. For me, I can count the houses better. I can see the oppositions and, the queen, the 6-8, 9-5 relationships from it. But I'm sure if you're used to the North Indian style, you can see it in your own way too. But I prefer the South, just because that's what my teachers, the old school teachers that I studied with way back when.
I do too. I prefer the South Indian, but yeah. I know many of our graduates use the North Indian style though.
Yeah, and I can read the North Indian style. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next question, there's so many questions, Joni. This is, it's good because, it's good we are doing this. We are able to answer everybody's questions.
Right.
All right, so the next one is from JJ. He's asking, once we graduate, are we also able to give life path or career consultations?
Of course, yes. I mean, we teach you how to really cover anything that a client will want. And I know exactly what a client would want doing this for 40 years and how to step by step get the answer that everyone wants. And I even teach students, I know, when you go to do your last test, everyone's nervous and they don't know where to start and they're, but they do. But my point is that you're going to learn and you're going to feel comfortable with any question a client may want, because I've been through it all. I've seen it all, and I know what people want out of a reading too. So you're going to really have to learn how to predict when somebody comes into money and when they get married. Those are the two first things, because that's the mass majority. I mean, people want to know about money and love, period. I mean, it's so refreshing though to me when someone asked, I want to know about my spirituality. And I think, oh, this is the reading I love to give. You know, but you know, let's face it, we all need to know about love and money. It's an important part of our experience here. But health and spirituality, I really love, because I truly believe that everything in our life, no matter what we're doing, it's all evolving to our spiritual growth. And health connects to that, because if you're not healthy in body, mind, and spirit, you're not going to be physically healthy. So that's, I don't know, that's something I just wanted to say.
And you know, it's interesting that JJ asked about life path, because that's one of the major things that I learned from you, Joni, from this university, the karmic, the using the nodes to predict your karmic destiny.
Yes.
You know, at many places you don't hear about that or see about that, but we actually, in this university, you will learn about that, how to predict life path of the individual from a karmic standpoint too, you know, not just from the regular mundane life, right? Career, money, love, like Joni said, but also from a karmic standpoint. You use the nodes for that. So I think that's a very good question, JJ. All right, so then let's see what the next question is. Could you please talk about the cost of the software and the required books?
Okay. Well, I haven't bought the software in a long time. How much is the software? I think it's about what?
It's close to 199 or 200, something like that.
That's what I remember. So, I mean, that's amazing for what you get.
I bought it like so long ago, and the best part is it's with you lifelong. You know,
it's lifelong. It's true.
You don't have to keep updating it, pay money again and again, none of that.
No, it's amazing.
That's one of the reasons why I don't even remember how much I paid for it.
I know. And one thing I love about Parashara's Light is I think it's the only program for a Mac. I mean, you don't have to buy all these other, you know, programs to download from, you know, to have it work on a Mac. You can buy it for a Mac or a PC, whichever one you prefer. And I know that Mahil Boender, who has Parashara's Light, I mean, he's the only one that will put up with all the updates that an Apple computer requires for companies to do, because Apple is, you know, that's why most astrology programs aren't made for Apples, because they're a pain. They always have updates and he has to readjust things all the time. But he does it. He knows it, you know, this is what we all want and need. So there was another part of that question, Shree, though, about the software.
Actually, and I think, thank you, Dia. Dia has said that Parashara's Light is $299, plus you get a 20% discount once you join the university and if you're a Joni student. So just a quick correction there. Thank you, Dia.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't remember it. I bought it like 6 years ago.
I know, me too.
All right. So the next one is, do you cover Gemology and Remedies?
Yes, we absolutely do.
Yeah,
that's part of, I forgot what semester, but we covered that for sure. And you know,
semester.
Remedial measures. I mean,
yes.
What are all the measures we can take to help prevent or mitigate the difficult cycles we see coming up? Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Yeah. And that was in the 5th semester. Yeah, we do cover that. The next question is actually somebody's just saying, Youth Uprising is saying, it's been 20 years. I want to do it this year. So this is your year. You should do it. It's an amazing time to start. With now since the university has started all these different platforms, about WhatsApp and Facebook and all that, you know, this is a good time.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the next question? Are there payment plans, or is everything due at the beginning of the semester?
Yes, so we don't have payment plans. I tried that before and it didn't work. So I just, you know, have to make something that works. And you can go by semester, purchase a whole semester, like just, you know, purchase the first semester. But if you purchase the entire university all up front, I consider this that you're dedicated. You know, and if you're dedicated, you know you're going to do this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You dive in, you save $1,000, and you can watch all of the videos at any time. And you know, any training where we counsel you, where we train you to go out in the world and have a profession, they are so much more expensive than the price that we put. I think it's very affordable. Each semester is $9.97. And remember, even when you just purchase the first semester, you're part of UVA forever. You get to come on board, listen to all our meetings, the classes, the live webinars that we have for that semester. And with it being 6 semesters at $9.97, equate that to close to $6,000. But if you buy it all up front, it's $499, you know, $4,999. So you save $1,000. But this is not just taking courses, guys. You have to remember, we are grooming you. We are going out of our way to help you set up a practice. This is unheard of when you know, consider how much people pay for a university class to go to a university. This is a university because this is training you for a profession. This is not just a fly-by-night class here or there. This is, if you're serious, this is what this is about. I'm giving everyone my all, everything I've experienced and learned in 40 years. This doesn't come by for, you know, you know, people that aren't totally wanting to learn or committed. This is the real deal.
Yes. And the next question is, so one of the attendees is saying that he or I don't know who it is, but they signed up, and when are they going to get the email? So you'll get the email within a week. We try to assign you a tutor, and you know, you get the welcome email with all the links. So hang tight, it's coming to you. And the next question here is, are we going to graduate with grades or just so?
Okay, I love this question. When I was certified with ACFA, you know, like 25 years ago, whenever it was, we had grades, and it was like everyone was like, oh, this person did so much better, this one. And not to brag, but they were always saying about what grade I graduated with, which was pretty high, I must say. But my point is, I don't like for people to feel graded. I just want people to learn the information. And so here's the thing. Let's say there's 20 questions and you get 5 wrong. You know what we do? Go back and find the right answer. And so you don't pass till you get every single one right. And it's not graded. It's just, we make you go back to the drawing board till you get it right. That's what I think is the most reasonable thing, because it's not about, oh, well, I made this grade and so made that grade. That's not what it's about. I didn't like that competitive thing. I want empowerment, not competition. I want people to learn. Period. Learn, not about, oh, well, this grade, she did better on this grade. And that's so out of my realm of what this is about. It's about learning.
And I love that you did that, Joni, because that ideology, especially this is a spiritual learning, right? This is not just any course. This is a spiritual learning. So we don't want to bring in ego. We don't want to bring in competition, any of that. So when the tutor says, hey, you got 17 of the 20 questions right, these 3 you need to work on, it actually gives you more incentive to go and find the right answer. Or you can even talk to your tutor and discuss it, so you really understand it. Exactly. But when you see like failed, or when you see 30% or whatever, like a failing grade, you know, that kind of brings our spirit down. You know, we don't want to go into that realm. We want to be more in the positive side. So I really love, Joni, that you did that. That's an amazing decision.
Yeah. It's about learning. It's not about grading.
Yes. So, okay. So the next question is, your lesson on Nakshatras was a great help for me. Quick question. Did you choose to have this discussion because the energy in Sagittarius right now? or is it because you're a guru?
Well, I don't care. You know, guru just simply means teacher. I'll take that, but I'm not like some, you know, whatever. I'm just a teacher.
But
And
that's how we choose to call you, Joni. So you can't stop us.
it makes me a little uncomfortable sometimes because I don't see myself as that. I just see myself as a teacher. But I thought this was a great day because of the full moon, the eclipse we just had. Remember, this is a full moon. It's where everything comes to fruition. And, you know, another thing about this day is the moon is conjunct Jupiter and it's in Sagittarius. So, of course, I plan things astrologically. That's why we get into this. So, yes, there is a reason why this day was chosen, and it's a very auspicious day.
Yes. Okay. So I think that's it. I don't see any more questions coming up. Does anybody have any other questions, last minute questions that you want to ask? No? Yeah, good. So we had, you know, almost 100 people watching. So that means they don't have any questions. So
All right, fantastic. Well, you know, you can always email me if you have any questions. I have a lot of people asking questions, but I think we've covered everything. Is there anything else? And, you know, Shree's got her class coming up on Gemini, and it is a standalone class. You don't have to take all the other semesters in order to take her class. And she's working on a second semester on Gemini. And, you know, because of you, Shree, I've learned how to really incorporate and use the Gemini principles when I'm doing a chart as well. You know, it's so great to have more than one backup. You know, I tell everybody, first look at the chart from the ascendant. Don't forget to look at the chart from the moon, Chandra Lagna.
yes.
Then look at the chart from the Navamsha. So I have 3 backup plans. Now I have 4. So with Gemini. So it's just, you know, Vedic astrology is so rich. It gives you so much. I mean, you know, when you even consider the divisional charts, consider the fact of twins. It really bothered me when I was doing Western astrology. And you look at a twins chart and they have the same exact chart and their lives are entirely different. How can that be? Right. Well, there's an explanation in Vedic astrology because their divisional charts are different. There's some divisional charts that change with 30 seconds. So that all was another thing. And the way that I think I bring in the outer planets, because that was one of the things that prevented me from really going into Vedic initially. I knew these outer planets worked, but I knew that you couldn't disturb this perfect system of Vedic astrology. So what I realized is that the outer planets are really our subconscious and psychological mind. It doesn't deal with the physical realm that the chart does. So, and you know as well as I do, everyone, that our subconscious and psychological mind can really direct our behavior and events in our life in a big way. Plus, I feel like they're so important in world events, because they really do have an effect on the collective unconscious. In other words, the masses of people all at once. So that's why I've chosen to do my 3-book series, which Neptune and my new book on Uranus is out on Amazon now. It's only been out for a few days, and I'm halfway through Pluto. And I've got all sorts of information I want to share with the university students about my discoveries with these outer planets. They are so profound. Once I figured how to use them, never interrupting the house rulerships of the Vedic system, just using them in terms of their psychological imprint on generations and on ourselves, how we take this into another dimension of an add-on of information. It's so rich. So you know, there's so many different things that I incorporate from all of my learning. And I know, Shree, you're a believer in the outer planets.
Absolutely. And I was just about to say, when you talked about the outer planets, you know, in the live webinars, you know, we talk about whatever is the current event. And when Joni was writing her books, we all got a first glimpse into kind of what she was thinking of writing, or, you know, what her charts were going to be. Because as students, you know, she considers us as family. The university is her family, her community. So that really helped us because, when she was writing the Neptune book, and some of the things, if you've read the book, you know that what I'm talking about, but some of the aspects that she's talking about in there, you don't hear about that in the traditional setting. First of all, outer planets are not used in traditional Vedic astrology. So this is something that really works, especially when they come in contact with personal planets.
Mhm.
And also from a generational standpoint for world predictions, right? So that's amazing that Joni's sharing that information with us, because you don't get to hear about that in many avenues.
Mhm. And I learn from all my students too, so it goes both ways.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
So I think some more people have said, but it's no questions. I don't see any questions. Um, okay. So yeah, I think we are good, Joni. No more
okay.
questions. Does anybody have any other questions regarding the university? No? Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm sure they want to know about all these other things. And I might as well say this at the very end. I am going to be teaching this weekend on it's a Western astrology group. And I'm going to do a little video on that. It's the Great Lakes Astrology Conference. It was supposed to be in Michigan. I'm really missing out that we were going to go to Michigan while it's so hot here in Texas. We could have gone to cool, beautiful Michigan at this time of year, but it's all online. And I have to give my presidential candidate, who I think is going to win the elections. That's going to be Friday. So it's the Great Lakes Astrological Conference. I've been working all yesterday on trying to figure out who is going to win this horrendous race coming up, but who will know firsthand will be my students, because we discuss them. As a matter of fact, the last presidential election, I told all my students to tell me who they thought would be elected and why. And we did this in a webinar, and it was amazing. I think everyone, based on everything that I taught them, that they said Trump would be the next president, like him or not. They did not. I know for a fact some of them didn't like saying what they said, but that's what the charts say. We have to be objective. We have to, it's not about our opinion. It's about using the astrology principles.
And I remember in that class, Joni, when you asked that question, whoever came up with the answer had to say why they came up with that answer.
Yeah.
And I remember you asked the details, and I don't remember which student it was, but they said because of the dashas or the particular yoga he was running, so it wasn't an emotional response. It was a very well thought of, using your concepts. That's what I like about this university. You have to keep your emotions to the side, and it is about looking at something objectively using the concepts that Joni's teaching.
Yeah, and I like that at that time, a lot of the people were not from the United States. Because I kind of think, well, maybe they're not as biased,
And
but
we
that was
do have
fun.
students from all around the world. And that's another thing I want to touch on. We have, so whoever you meet, you're building lifelong connections.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, and that's another thing we didn't answer. Somebody had asked when we have the webinars.
Yes.
Well, I had them in the evening, like around, I always say it's Central Time Zone. So you got to adjust to whatever your time would be. I used to have them about 6 or 7 p.m. on Wednesday evenings. That worked good because the East Coast, it was 5, West Coast, well, no, it was later there. If it was 6, it was 7 there. And then, the East Coast would have been 4 p.m. But then none of my European crowd could attend, because it was like, 1 o'clock in the morning for a lot of my people in Turkey and Italy and Switzerland and England and Ireland, all those places. We have students from all those places. And so I started having them at 9:30 a.m. Central Time on Wednesdays. And it seems to work for the European people, because most of them are 7 hours to 8 hours ahead. And then even the people in Malaysia, we have students in the Philippines and
Thailand.
where's that? Singapore. We have,
from Thailand. Yeah, Southeast Asia. We have a lot of students.
Yeah.
And also
India.
Australia. I know we have a couple of students from Australia, Canada.
Yes.
So it's all around the world.
Yeah, all around the world. So it's really tough for me to pick and choose the time because I want everyone to be able to attend. But I like this 9:30 time, but I think you're going to do a different time. So we, I asked for, how many people, I'm going to ask, how many people, where are you before I start the first semester, and try to pick a time. Like if I have more people in Europe as compared to more people in Asia or in California or New York, I try to pick a time that's best for the majority. It's never perfect for anyone. That's why we record it so that they can watch it at a later time.
Right.
Okay.
And all the recordings are available to you at any time. You have lifelong access to it.
That's
And
right.
and you're right, Joni, when I do the Germany semester starting July 23rd, the time I chose was evening time, US time. But once I have an idea who is signed up, I'll probably post that as a question to who all signed up to see which part of the world they're from, and maybe have to change it so maximum people can join.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
we want as many people as can join in the live webinars because it is a fun environment. You get to interact and talk, and it's not one-sided where Joni's the only one talking. She opens up the forum, asks you to interact and ask her questions, and it's a very informal kind of get together. So it's amazing. So joining live webinars is one of the biggest highlights of this university. I can tell you that.
I agree. It's fun for me as well. I love it. So I guess we're no more questions. Are we good now?
Yes, I haven't seen any more questions come through. Yeah, I think we are good now. I don't see any more questions. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
great.
right.
So,
Well, thank you everyone for coming. And we always close with a namaste. Thank you everyone for coming. And I hope to see everyone online learning this most powerful science of them all, Vedic astrology. So thank you everyone. Have a
thank
good
you.
day.
Bye.
Bye.